Okay, hi. So if this is on your YouTube, hi, my name is Matthew. I've decided to slowly start posting on social media. The thing that I've realized in life is things are not easy, obviously, but it's kind of like taking things little by little, taking things step by step. So I'm graduating from college, university, whatever you want to say, with my computer science degree. So I am your fellow comp sci student. And I've been blessed. I've been super grateful to actually land myself an internship. And I did get the extension during the summer, and they'll probably, I'll probably get the full time offer. So I'm super grateful, and I'm honestly like super grateful for the opportunity. But that's not even the whole point of this. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of who I am. Aside from computer science, it's very interesting and it's helped me get to the point where I want to get. I've realized that I want to do something that involves helping people. Helping people is kind of my purpose in life. For starters, I want to talk about discipline, the art of discipline. Let that be the title of this video. Let me do a nice thumbnail. You like that thumbnail? Okay, whatever. But the art of discipline. Let me give you a little bit of background, a little story. In 2020, I was morbidly obese. I weighed about 236 pounds, and my doctor was saying I was obese. I had to lose weight, you know, and it was more so because I looked down on myself. I didn't have any self love, I didn't have any self discipline. You know, it was at a low point in my life where, and this might get a bit personal, but I want to use this as a time where I can talk to you so you can kind of get an idea of what I've been doing. So maybe this can help you. I was depressed, I was sad. I used food as my coping mechanism to help me escape. You know, maybe it was because never being in a relationship happens. That was one thing. I've kind of learned to just ignore that fact. Life goes on. And I know that there's a path. Not even just for me, I'm saying for you as well. There's a path in life. Everything revolves around discipline. Because I was morbidly obese, I was depressed, I was sad, and I didn't really have any clear goals on what I wanted to do in life. So, like I said, I used food as my, escape, to kind of escape from everything, to get that satisfaction. But inevitably, food doesn't really bring you that satisfaction, so you keep seeking more and more and more. And that's when you start gaining weight. But I kind of had an epiphany, I guess, if you want to say, where things needed to change. First things first is I was so struck on trying to find somebody to love when I didn't even love myself. I feel like that's the most important part, is you have to love yourself before you could even begin to want to love another. Now, I understand the whole thing of being lonely, loneliness. It's hard, right? But everything really revolves around discipline. I'm not saying I have everything figured out. I'm not saying that I'm, at a high point in my life. I'm slowly figuring things out. But the art of discipline kind of helps us, it helps you, helps me get to where we want to get. I'll give you an example. I started, little by little, because everything is step by step. I started actively going to the gym every single day. But I was eating not really the best, but I was still going to the gym. Given I lost weight, I was, losing weight. I lost about 30 pounds, which was good. But then I got to another state where I kind of started feeling a little bit depressed because I wasn't making progress. I hit what, the gym goers say, I hit a plateau. I wasn't losing weight. And I kind of went back to that state of just eating whatever I wanted. And I ended up gaining maybe 10 more pounds. And I was back at like 210. This is where I decided, okay, we have to lock in. It's not easy. Everything in life is hard, right? I still struggle, day in and day out, trying to get by. Now, I'm not saying I'm sad or anything, but it's just like the fact that things take time makes it a little bit harder. You tell yourself, look, things are going to take time. It's not going to be easy, right? Life is not meant to, go fast. As one of my friends told me, she was like, hey, life is not a race. It's kind of taking things little by little, step by step. And it's careful steps that you make to get you to the point where you want to get, like losing weight, for example. It was probably one of the hardest things I had to do. You have to go to the gym at least, 4 to 5 days a week. You have to eat in a calorie deficit, which is what I did. I started at like 1,800 calories, and I lowered it down to maybe 17, 16, 1,500, whatever. And it worked. In total, I lost 70 pounds. Right now I weigh 166 pounds, around there. And I started at 236 pounds. So if you ever have any self-doubt that, no, I can't lose weight, I was there and I did it. I lost the weight. I had this feeling that I was never going to lose weight, that I was always going to be overweight, always going to be obese, and that's what kind of made me sad. And that's what kind of led to me overeating even more. Food is really not the scapegoat. Food is not going to help remove any type of sadness you have, or, it's not going to make things better. But the art of discipline really helped me get by. The art of discipline helped me understand things more. And I'm kind of grateful for, all the friends that I've made. I've learned so much. The art of understanding, the art of discipline, right? Understanding discipline. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to do this and this. It's not talking, it's doing. I know it's going to take time. That's the thing that's kind of hard that was hard for me, that I couldn't say, this is going to take too much time. I'm not going to be able to do this. That's the thing. Little progress is progress. Discipline is what sets us apart from everybody else. It's not motivation. You don't need motivation. I'll be upfront. Motivation is BS, because motivation comes and goes. I've spoken to a few people. I went to this Young LA event, and the only one I was able to talk to was Faith. And I asked her, I was like, so what kind of helps you get by? What kind of helps you stay consistent with going to the gym, posting content? And the thing that she said, it was, faith in the Lord and Jesus Christ, but it was also having discipline, having that discipline to stick to your goals. It's doing the things even if you don't want to do them. That's discipline. Discipline is doing those things that are difficult, like losing weight, staying consistent to trying to lose weight. That's what kind of helped me lose weight. Having a clear goal, setting up a plan, having the discipline to be consistent. That was how I lost weight. It was no off day. It was no, I'm going to give myself a week break. I'm going to give myself, no. It was constant discipline. No motivation. Motivation is BS. Doesn't exist, comes and goes. Who cares about motivation? It's all about discipline, because there's going to be one day, and I told Faith this, and she agreed, there's some days where you don't want to go to the gym. There's some days you don't want to post content, but it's kind of like keeping to it and having that discipline to just keep going. And one thing I've heard, people are scared to go to the gym because they're scared of being judged. I had that fear too of going to the gym, because, you're going to see people who are just jacked. You're going to see people like ripped, and you're going to think like, damn, you're going to feel less of a person. I'm going to be one of the first to tell you, I personally commend anybody who goes to the gym, whether you're overweight, whether you're, whatever size you is, I don't really care. And that's me. And I'm sure there's other people who think like this. I commend anybody who goes to the gym. And if I see anybody who seems to be overweight, I commend them even more. Because you know why? Because they're actually trying to make a difference with themselves. Staying disciplined, staying consistent to the things that you want, things that you actually enjoy. Now let's give you an example. Let's just say you want to open up a restaurant. More than likely, if you want to open up a restaurant, you're passionate about food. You're passionate about cooking. If you're passionate enough, then you will get to the point where you want to get. You will open up that restaurant, because it's not what you don't know. It's having that discipline to keep going to reach that goal of having that restaurant. Discipline is what sets you apart from everybody else. If you stick through your goals, you will get to the point where you want to get. I'm getting nice and close and personal. Discipline helped me get my bachelor's in computer science. Discipline helped me lose over 70 pounds. Discipline helped me land an internship. Discipline helped me keep that internship. And discipline helped me completely changed my perspective on life. Discipline helped me shift my mindset. Because, like I said before, I was extremely depressed, sad. I had no self interest, no self discipline, nothing. But it was kind of shifting my perspective, shifting my mindset due to discipline. And it was kind of like understanding what I wanted to do. Now, you may be asking, how do I find this discipline? It's about finding what you actually want to do, it's about finding what you enjoy, right? For one thing, let's just say you really want to lose weight. That's it. That's all you need. You want to lose weight? Boom. But there's how you find your discipline. You want to lose weight? Discipline is how you're going to get there. You want to get that degree? Discipline is how you're going to get there. You want that internship? Discipline is how you're going to get there. You want that job? Discipline is how you're going to get there. Discipline is the difference between you and that other person. Don't worry what other people think. Don't worry if people are judging you. If anything, people that judge you tells you more about them than it does you. If people have to waste their time, waste their energy, waste their thoughts, waste their words to judge you, that tells you more about them than it does you. It's about ignoring all of that and becoming strong with your mental health, your physical health, your soul, and your spirit. It's not easy, but it is simple. And simple meaning, you know what you have to do, but it's the act of doing. It's always the act of doing is the hard part. My goal with this YouTube channel is to give words of wisdom to you and to others. I want to try to encourage people as much as I can. I've realized my purpose is to help people. Help people with words of encouragement. Help people understand what I've understood. Because I've always been this way to kind of share the knowledge that I've learned. Because why should I gatekeep that information? Why should I gatekeep the stuff that I've learned to myself when I could share it with other people? If I benefited from words of wisdom, I'm sure other people could benefit from the stuff that I've learned throughout university, throughout life, throughout working. The people you surround yourself with is the determining factor of where you go. But yeah, again, my name is Matthew, and my purpose is to try to help people as much as I can with words of wisdom. If you liked what I said, then drop a like. But life is all about discipline. It's not easy. I know it's hard. And I'm still trying to figure things out little by little. I don't have everything figured out, but I've learned a few things throughout my life so far. And I'm just learning to get by, helping people as much as I can. Stay tuned, because I got more to come. Thanks.